know my SpongeBob conspiracy theorist trajectory, rundown. Alex Bell got me on it, and the last video we watched was why Squidward cannot leave his job because he's a slave, bro. That boy's an indentured servitude. He ain't never getting out. And then in that comment section, somebody told me to, Holla, check out the government theory. Okay, now we're about to see if this SpongeBob theory is Alex Bell approved. Okay, now don't only go for SpongeBob theories. If y'all got like gaming theories, oh my god, where's Matt Pat, bro? Let's get into this. But y'all comment some more theories I gotta watch down below. Let's get it.
Bikini Bottom is a populated city, which looks normal at first, but the more you dig in, the more you realize that it's being run by one fish, who's destroying the entire city for their own selfish desires. Welcome to the Bikini Bottom government theory. So who's really in charge of Bikini Bottom? Surely it's the mayor, right? Well then why does Squidward talk about the president of Bikini Bottom in the episode Good Neighbors? Also, isn't King Neptune the ruler of the sea? So wouldn't that make him in charge? And in all of this, where do Gary and Patrick fit into? Well, let's start with the mention of the president of Bikini Bottom. In the episode Good Neighbors, SpongeBob and Patrick tell Squidward that now he's the president.
Me? President of Bikini Bottom?
Squidward, stupidly, thinks that he's suddenly become the president of Bikini Bottom. But we don't see an actual person who's the president, just a mention of them. This makes it easy to assume that the sea has other countries that have presidents, which Bikini Bottom knows about, but Bikini Bottom itself doesn't have a president. This would mean that it's surely the mayor who's in charge of Bikini Bottom, right? Well, I should be more specific in that Bikini Bottom has had more than just one mayor. Between seasons 1 and 7, it's the Green Mayor that we all know. However, in the season 7 episode Sponge Kano, there seems to be a new mayor known as Mr. Mayor, who's in charge of the city. After that, the Green Mayor comes back, where he stays until season 12. In the season 12 episode, the SpongeBob musical Live on Stage, we're introduced to a new mayor known as Miss Mayor. She's still the mayor of Bikini Bottom to this day. This constant change in mayors shows that Bikini Bottom is clearly a democratic city, which elects its mayors based on the choice of voters. But if that's the case, then how can we explain King Neptune? Because of his god status, couldn't he have a claim to the seat of power in Bikini Bottom, or even the entire sea? Well, the best way to understand the division of power in Bikini Bottom would be through the real-life country of the United Kingdom. They have a prime minister who is the mayor in Bikini Bottom. But they also have a king who has no real say in what happens but represents the UK. Similarly, King Neptune, being a god, doesn't have time to run individual cities. He doesn't have a say as to what happens, but he represents them and most likely other nations within the seas. With all that out of the way, we get to the hardest and most complicated story to explain: Patrick and Gary. In the episode Rule of Dumb, we learn that Patrick and eventually Gary are both royalty. SpongeBob himself calls them both king. But what are they the king of? Bikini Bottom?
No,
or maybe something bigger? To figure out, let's go back in their family tree. Looking back, we can see that the oldest ancestor to the both of them is King Amoeba, who used to be the king of Bikini Bottom a long time ago. This would make Gary the new king of Bikini Bottom. But if Bikini Bottom is a democratic city with a government, then how does it have a king? To answer that, we have to go to the past. One of the few episodes from a long time ago is Dunces and Dragons. However, in the episode, we see that an ancestor of Mr. Krabs is the king of Bikini Bottom. Apart from that being another Krabs versus Plankton story, we learn that Krabs once used to be royalty. From Squidward's ancestor and
hold on now. I'm gonna have to pause right there because y'all know in the Bikini Bottom, which theory was it? The Krabby Patty secret formula. Alex Bell told us that Mr. Krabs fought in the war. Okay. So him becoming royalty, was he like a knight royalty? Or are both true, or one I don't know, man.
The same episode, we learned that this was about 210 years ago, before the modern timeline.
If I never learn to play with ease, may mine own great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandson be cursed tenfold.
This would mean that about 210 years ago, Krabs and his ancestors used to be kings. But then why isn't Mr. Krabs a king in the modern Bikini Bottom? Well, from the family tree, we know that King Amoeba was a king 120 years ago, which is about 4 generations. This would mean that for whatever reason, the Krabs family lost their royalty status and King Amoeba took over. This would also explain why most of Krabs' relatives are known to be pirates in the episode Grandpappy the Pirate. So if King Amoeba took over all that time ago, then why isn't Gary regarded as the king of Bikini Bottom? Once again, it's the family tree that's going to explain everything. If we look at the generation before Patrick's parents, then
Prince
we can
Dingus.
see that they were dressed in Wild West clothing, which takes us to the episode Pest of the West. In the episode, we learn that Patrick's great-great-great-uncle did a heroic act which he was known for. A great-great-great relative would be around roughly 90 years ago, which is before the Wild West but after the Renaissance period. Looking at their clothing, it looks to be what we would call the 1600s in our timeline. Also, if you look at the generation after King Amoeba, they look to be dressed in similar clothing. Basically, this proves that the Wild West happened before episodes like Dunces and Dragons. Looking at the real Wild West, there were no kings, only sheriffs and mayors. So sometime before the Wild West era, the monarchy would have been dissolved and a democratic system would have taken place. Because of that, the king of Bikini Bottom has no real power over the city because the monarchy was dissolved. They would be similar to King Neptune, except they wouldn't be a god. Quick side note, one thing that always puzzled me in the family tree was how Patrick's grandfather had Patrick's father all by himself. Doing a little research, I found out that some sea stars can actually reproduce asexually, meaning that they can basically duplicate themselves, which is pretty cool. Going back to the video, we now know that it's the mayors who are part of the democratic system and actually run the city. But then how do we explain incidents like this?
Kids, he made me experience high tide!
Especially after your little mishap with my whirly bird.
We're gonna do this if it kills us. And one. And if...
They wanted you to have this.
What's going on in Bikini Bottom?
Those specific cases are some of many that we've seen throughout the entire show. Apart from the idea that we see in the later seasons of Random Equals Funny, the show writers write these scenarios to show us more than they're letting on. The crimes are usually ignored and the episode goes on without acknowledging them ever again. In the episode Bubble Buddy kills Scooter, which is shown and then ignored so that everyone else can kill Bubble Buddy. Then in the episode Sandy's Rocket, we learn that SpongeBob killed hundreds with Sandy's whirlybird. It's then ignored and never comes up again, which makes it one of the greatest mysteries in the entire show. Also, in the episode Sing a Song of Patrick, Patrick makes a song which a band has to play. After playing the song, the entire band dies. Once again, it's shown and then never comes up nor is mentioned again. Finally, in the episode Enemy-in-Law, Plankton ravages the entire town just to impress Mr. Krabs' mother. Yet again, it's shown, ignored, and then never mentioned again. In all these episodes, serious crimes are committed, ignored, and then never mentioned again. Now that we know that Bikini Bottom is a democratic city, it raises the question of how this is even allowed in the first place. If there's a functioning government which is in charge of Bikini Bottom, then why aren't they able to control what's happening with their population? The only one who could stop them would be the police. If we look at Bikini Bottom, the police stick out like a sore thumb. They usually aren't doing their job most of the time. The few times they are working, they act really stupid. Some examples include, at the start of the episode Doing Time, we see 2 police officers beating a parking meter
them in the jail for a balloon.
reason. After seeing SpongeBob, they decide to chase him after seeing him destroy the town, but only because he doesn't have a license plate.
That guy had no front license plate, let's get him!
During the episode Party Pooper Pants, they arrest SpongeBob for not inviting them to his party. At the start of the episode SpongeBob meets the Strangler, they arrest the Strangler, and once he escapes, they don't really care despite him being a huge criminal. They then don't even try to catch him until SpongeBob forces him into prison. At the end of the episode Professor Squidward, they arrest Squidward for impersonating Squilliam. Apart from that last one, the cops are clearly not the smartest. While they do have their smart moments in episodes
they don't
like
even
Good Old
care.
What's His Name, Summer Job, and Someone's in the Kitchen with Sandy, looking at all the examples, we see that as the show goes on, the police get smarter. The police act stupid in the season 3 episode Doing Time, the season 3 episode Party Pooper Pants, the season 3 episode SpongeBob Meets the Strangler, and the season 2 episode No Free Rides. So why are they acting stupid at the start? Was someone controlling them to be stupid? The only one who could do that would be the police chief, because he's the only one who's over them and gives them orders. But what about someone higher?
Okay, let me put my conspiracy pants on. Who could be paying a police force? Is it King Neptune and Riches telling them, hey, I know the mayor wants to enforce these rules, but don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Or is he getting paid by the mayor? I don't know what his benefit would be paying. I don't know, but we gonna see.
The police commissioner. He could be the one behind it all. But there's just one more person who's over the commissioner, who gives him orders and tells him to do whatever he wants. The mayor of Bikini Bottom. Like I mentioned before, there's been 3 mayors of Bikini Bottom throughout the entire show. The Green Mayor, who served between seasons 1 and 7, and then again between seasons 8 and 12, Mr. Mayor, who's been seen just in the episode Sponge Kano, and Miss Mayor, who's still the mayor of Bikini Bottom. Knowing what we know about the police, it seems that they were stupid mainly during when the Green Mayor was serving his term. But that could be a coincidence.
But the Green Mayor is also the same color as King Neptune. Hold on. Hey, we might be cooking right now. He might be like a cousin or something that said, all right, look, they don't respect kings no more. We're going to enforce a little democracy. All right? But you going to run it. I'm going to make sure you win. How about that? Hold on now.
Coincidence, right? It probably is, because the police sometimes are smart when he's in charge. An example we see was in the episode Professor Squidward. The police arrest Squidward for impersonating Squilliam, which is a big crime. It seems that the Green Mayor had nothing to do with this, until you realize that that specific operation was led by Squilliam, who's kinda smart. This would mean that the police did nothing to figure out that Squidward was lying. They just ran
took
in
the money
and arrested Squidward. There are other episodes like this, like in the episode The Getaway, where the police are smart when the Green Mayor's in charge, but it's all a result of someone else, not the police themselves. It could be the examples we've gone through, but it seems that the police act stupider whenever the Green Mayor is in charge. Just to give a couple more examples, in the season 7 episode, The Wreck of the Mauna Loa, the police cracked down and were able to arrest Mr. Krabs for his crimes. At the time, Mr. Mayor was in charge because it was after the episode Sponge Kano. In the season 8 episode, Mr. Krabs Takes a Vacation, the police are too incompetent to catch robbers to the point where they had to land in their car. At this time, it was the Green Mayor who was in charge. In the season 7 episode, Keep Bikini Bottom Beautiful, a cop kept giving Squidward a ticket despite it not being his fault. What's interesting is that it was earlier than the episode Sponge Kano, meaning that the Green Mayor was still in charge. One of the few times the police were actually smart with the Green Mayor was in the episode Fiasco, where they chased Plankton to get a piece of art. In the season 5 episode Goo Goo Gas, the police let Plankton run away after they arrested him. This episode happened before the Green Mayor became the new mayor of New Kelp City, so yet again it's under his reign. I should have probably mentioned that at one point the Green Mayor was the mayor of New Kelp City in the episode Whatever Happened to SpongeBob, but after handing that to SpongeBob he left and became the mayor of Bikini Bottom again. It seems that for most of the time when the Green Mayor's in charge, the police are magically stupid. It's clear that he might have something going on behind the scenes, which is making Bikini Bottom more unsafe.
The Green Mayor. It's gotta be
So
King
like
Neptune.
we now know, the Green Mayor has something going on behind the scenes, which is somehow destroying the town. To figure out more about his character and what he's like, let's go through every appearance he makes to uncover what he might be doing. His very first appearance was in the episode Doing Time, where we see him opening an unfinished bridge, which a lot of people are there to watch. A pretty obvious question is why he's opening a bridge that's not ready for cars. What's the point of declaring it officially open? If anything, it becomes a safety hazard, which we see when SpongeBob and the police fall down the bridge. This makes us question the authority of the mayor and if he's even competent to run the town. After that, we see him in the episode The Great Snail Race, where he gives an opening speech before the games begin. There's nothing much to say about him because he basically does nothing. Then in season 5, in the episode Whatever Happened to SpongeBob, he's seen as the mayor of New Kelp City. He makes SpongeBob the new mayor and retires. He probably went back to being the mayor of Bikini Bottom. After that, in the episode Porous Pockets, we see the mayor inside SpongeBob's new house after he became rich. SpongeBob has a rich club meeting going on and the mayor is one of the people attending. The club has about 497 members who are all lent money from SpongeBob, which includes the mayor. But why is the mayor of Bikini Bottom asking SpongeBob for money? We see other people do it because they're broke, but unlike them, the mayor would not be broke because he's in a high position in the town. Him asking for money despite being well off shows that he might be a greedy person. Also, knowing that every person there asks SpongeBob for money, it seems that the mayor has no shame in hiding his greediness. Then in the episode Drive-Thru, the mayor actually does something smart for once and asks Mr. Krabs to do something about the lines in front of his drive-thrus. This time he seems to care about the town, but this only happens after basically the entire town is waiting in line to get a Krabby Patty. While he actually did something good, it seems it was too little too late. After that, in the episode Safe Deposit Krabs, the mayor declares the Bank of Bikini Bottom Bank open for business. But unlike the last time he declared something open, the bank was actually open to customers. It all seems fine until Mr. Krabs manages to break into the vault by accident. Not only is it the fault of the police that he's in there, but also he's able to stay the entire night before they even notice him in there, which all happens because of SpongeBob. Yet again, the police acted brain dead when the Green Mayor was in charge, and this time he was even connected to the crime that happened. Then in the episode Food Con Castaways, the Green Mayor isn't even the mayor but instead a food judge. He somehow doesn't recognize SpongeBob, Mr. Krabs, or even the Krabby Patty, despite knowing them all from before. He doesn't really do anything that could be bad, so there's nothing to look for. Finally, his latest appearance is in the episode Say Aw, where he and Miss Mayor are both eaten by Plankton's robot. It seems that it's Miss Mayor who's in charge of the town, which shows that the Green Mayor wasn't the only bad mayor Bikini Bottom had. With all that, we see that the Green Mayor is incompetent and greedy, two attributes which don't make a good leader. We see his incompetence in episodes like Doing Time and Safe Deposit Krabs. We also see his greediness in the episode Porous Pockets. Because of how incompetent he is, he can't run the town correctly and his greediness only makes it worse, because he would destroy the town for a quick buck. But to truly test his greediness, we have to see if he's doing anything else which could earn him some money at the expense of the town. To test his greediness,
bro, I'm still on King Neptune so far,
most dangerous and rich people in the entire show, Mr. Krabs and Plankton, specifically their prison records. If they appear too suspicious, then we know that the mayor is messing with them for money. Let's start off with Mr. Krabs. Like various main characters in the show, Mr. Krabs has a prison record. From his record, we can see if the mayor is letting him off easier. He gets arrested at the end of the episode The Smoking Peanut. Considering the crime was big, we know that he was arrested, but we don't actually know when he was let go. Then he avoids prison in the episode The Krusty Sponge, when he convinces the warden to ride the train as much as he wants. After that, he avoids prison in the episode The Patty Caper. He puts the blame on SpongeBob, but the police catch him. He's forced to give away free Krabby Patties, which is a worse crime for him than jail. He gets arrested in the episode The Wreck of the Mauna Loa for running a dangerous amusement park. We don't know how long he served for his crimes. He gets arrested in the episode The Krusty Slammer for letting prisoners leave before their sentences were over. We don't know when he's let go. It seems that most of the time, Krabs is forced to do his time in jail for the crimes he commits.
But not
He's
Plankton.
only been able to escape punishment once when he lets the judge ride the SpongeBob train. This would mean that the mayor hasn't been pulling any special favors for Krabs, and so at least for Krabs, he isn't destroying the town for money. Now let's look at Plankton's record, which is more interesting because he's been to jail more times than Krabs.
Oh, wow.
In the episode Goo Goo Gas, Plankton gets arrested and escapes just a few seconds later in front of the police arresting him. It seems that the cops don't take Plankton too seriously, but to neglect someone you're arresting is beyond stupid.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But this is surely just a one-off, right? Then
No.
he gets arrested and escapes prison in the episode Krabby Road. They also reveal that Plankton is the most dangerous criminal in town.
I'll let you peek at our #1 inmate. He's too dangerous to let him around the other inmates.
Which makes the last example even worse. It doesn't make this one any better because he's able to escape very easily. Despite his cell being separated from everyone else, there's no guards guarding the cell to make sure he doesn't escape. At the end of the episode, he does get arrested again and is put into a different jail, but it won't be surprising if he escapes that as well, considering how little the guards care for what they call the most dangerous prisoner in the entire city. He gets arrested at the end of the episode Sweet and Sour Squid. However, unlike any other time, this time he wasn't guilty and was probably let go after clearing his name. He gets
SpongeBob
arrested
trying to
at
help
the
him
end
get
of the
off.
episode Fiasco after being chased by the police the entire episode. He's made to be kept in prison specifically because of Mr. Krabs. It's one of the few times Plankton isn't shown to escape before his sentence is over. In the episode Jailbreak, we see exactly how Plankton escapes jail. From the episode, we see that Plankton is treated as just another prisoner, even though the police
That boy
consider
was in
Plankton
maximum
to be
before.
a huge threat, which is very suspicious. Then in the episode The Krusty Slammer, Plankton gets arrested, but since the jail is full, he's let go. Once again, the most dangerous person in Bikini Bottom is let free because there's no space. But that's not even the worst part. As the episode goes on, Mr. Krabs decides to take the prisoners into the Krusty Krab for a ton of money, including Plankton. But just after 2 days in jail, which is just Mr. Krabs' office with the formula outside the safe, Plankton is released for trying to steal the formula. Once again, the most dangerous criminal is released in
let
just
go.
2 days. But maybe that's the amount of time he serves every time, right? Well, in the episode Jailbreak, Karen brings a cake for Plankton with the amount of time Plankton's been
Counting
in
the
jail for.
days.
Maybe the tally is just for aesthetics, but Karen usually never visits Plankton when he gets arrested. So this time, it shows that maybe he's been in there for a lot longer than
Almost
2
40
days.
days.
Also,
Said
if
40.
his sentence ended after just 2 days every time, then why would he even bother to escape? This time was different. Another episode to talk about is the episode Enemy-in-Law, where he takes a lot of fish hostage and destroys the town, but doesn't even go to jail for it. So to recap, Plankton has been arrested and been able to escape nearly every time. He's barely guarded despite being considered the most dangerous.
Bro, if he's about to tell me Plankton runs the city for like illegal embezzlement, gamble, I don't know. Maybe my man got like some blackmail on the mayor. I have no clue, but he's also green, so we might see a little bit of correlation here.
Prisoner and is let go way earlier than we see him in previous episodes when he's guarded by Mr. Krabs. But do you know what the craziest part is? All of these examples, every time Plankton has easily escaped from jail, it's been the Green Mayor who's in charge of Bikini Bottom. Even the episode The Krusty Slammer, which is from season 12, happened before the new mayor came to power. It seems that the Green Mayor is doing some shady work to let Plankton out of jail every time he gets put in. Because we know that the mayor is greedy, it's pretty obvious that he's doing it for the money. This is mutually beneficial because the mayor gets money, and Plankton gets out early so he can try to steal the formula again. But how does the mayor let Plankton out each time?
That's a good question.
Wouldn't people get suspicious? From all the episodes, it seems that some of the police see Plankton as a threat, while others don't care. It would mean that not all the police are in on Plankton's scheme to escape every time easily. So how does the mayor do all this? Well, knowing he's the mayor, there's one final connection he has that helps him let Plankton out every time. This is the police commissioner in Bikini Bottom. He's above the chief of police as well as the warden. His only boss is the mayor himself. But looking at the commissioner, he looks an awful lot like the mayor himself. They're both green, they both wear top
Hey, that's a
hats, and they
fact.
both wear fancy looking
Got
clothing.
the
commissioner
scales
has
on the
only
back.
been mentioned twice in the entire show. We hear in the episode Shuffleboarding that the police commissioner asked for Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy to appear as celebrity guests for some event. After that, we see him in the episode What's Eating Patrick, where he gives out the prize for the Krabby Patty eating contest. From what we can tell, he seems to pride his position as he has a sash with Commissioner written on it. Because of their similarities, the Commissioner and the Mayor could be related or know each other in some way. This is probably how the Mayor is able to let Plankton out each time. After Plankton's arrest, the Commissioner makes sure Plankton is let go, and because he's so powerful, they let him go. The mayor of Bikini Bottom is an incompetent mayor who's unfit to run the city. He's seen opening unfinished bridges, taking money from his own citizens to feed his greed, and projects like the bank he's part of get broken into quite easily. Because of his incompetence, we see why the jail is so full at the end of his time as mayor. He's run the town so low
this
that
not about to
people
be
need
over.
to commit crimes just to get by. But they all pale in comparison to letting out one of the most dangerous people out of prison. The mayor has essentially left the city to die while he makes money off of them.
Boy, I know. Whoa, what? No, okay, listen. Let me tell y'all something. When I watch a theory, maybe not y'all. When I watch a theory, at the end of that theory, I want to be like, that made so much sense. I never even thought about that. Once you put them puzzle pieces together, it showed a bigger picture. For this one, look, he pointed out a lot of decent things. Like if the video would have been titled the Bikini Bottom's worst mayor, maybe might not have got that many clicks, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the video, I would have felt like he proved it. Like look what's going on in this mayor's city, okay? But since it's a theory, like I would have thought like that this video would have told me, yo, Bikini Bottom has a government running it, and I'm gonna show you why the government's running it. That's what I would have thought. So like we don't even know why he's letting Plankton out of prison. We brought up King Neptune. We never even like finished that whole thing. Like, does King Neptune have anything to do with it? We brought up the timeline, the medieval time, the Western time. We brought those things up, but it didn't play into the bigger picture. Or even like Gary and Patrick being royalty before. I don't see how that worked into like the government theory, if you feel what I'm saying. So I guess that's just telling us, hey, this guy runs the city. I guess that's the theory. Like this is the fish that runs Bikini Bottom, and he's doing a bad job. I feel like that was more of the video than the actual like theory for me to be like, oh, Bikini Bottom has a government. Who's pulling the strings? Why are they doing this? Here's the proof why they're doing this. Me personally, so decent video, told me some things I didn't really pay attention to, like the mayor's control of the city, but cannot give this my Alex Bell stamp of approval. Yeah, Holla, who are you to give out a Alex Bell stamp of approval? Relax, all right, relax. Because I don't feel like I really came away from this video like I want to tell people about it. You know, when I seen Squilliam and Squilliam and Squidward were a thing, I was like, yo, hey, watch this video. When I found out the Krabby Patty secret formula was Pearl's mom, I was like, yo, watch this video. Like, this one doesn't make me feel like that as much. So for that reason, I will be keeping the Alex Bell award for theorizing away from the podium. Okay. But listen, y'all, let me know how y'all feel about this. Am I tweaking? Look, I am up for criticism. If y'all think like, yo, Holla, you tweaking, this is a banger, I think it's a good video. Do I give it the theory? Am I gonna make this like a theory recommendation? Probably not. But I'm gonna see y'all a little bit later.
So when the metal hit his mug, he just sunk in place. 100K Holla, chillin' Bahamas. Come home to your crib and throw in your mama.